Let's talk about the origin story of how you got started in this. Where did you grow up, and then how did you migrate into business? I imagine Toehold wasn't the first story out the gate.
No, it's a weird story on how it started. But the origin was, I'm from San Diego originally. We're based in Las Vegas now, but grew up in San Diego. I was up in the hills on a hike with my dad, and we were like 4 miles back on Palomar Mountain, and my flip-flop, the thong pulled out. It broke.
Yeah.
Like so many people have experienced before.
Yeah.
And we were like 4 miles back to camp, and it's pretty rough terrain, something you don't want to walk on barefoot. So I kind of had to do like hodgepodge them together, and wound up getting back to camp and thinking like, God, I need a pair of flip-flops, because that's all we ever wear.
Yeah.
That's all we ever grew up with. Even to this day, I'll put shoes on if I go to a nice dinner sometimes.
Yeah.
But that's really it.
Yeah.
But at the time I was a contractor. I was a civilian contractor for the Marine Corps, and I was headed over to Okinawa. And while we were in the jungle, we came across like this leather worker who's making bags. And if anyone knows like anything the Japanese do, they're just artisans at what they do. They really focus on extreme details and becoming high-level craftsmen at whatever it is they're doing.
Masters.
Yeah. And I talked to the guy and I said, can you make me a pair of flip-flops? He was doing bags and wallets and things like that. And they're real beautiful stuff. And I had kind of an idea in my head, never been a creative guy, never been an artist, know zero about music or painting or anything like that. So I kind of had this little idea, and we worked together and came up with like a rough version. And I wore them and I liked them a lot, and they were pretty good. I kept thinking like I could do something better. So I kept going back to him doing variations. And then when I left Okinawa, came back to the States, those lasted me for years. And then eventually they wore out, and I reached out to a lot of different leather workers asking, hey, can you remake these? And some guys could do the leather portion, but they didn't understand like the tread part or the cobbler part, the shoe part, if you will. And it's really just two different worlds. They got to a point to where I went to saddle makers. I went to guys who made gun holsters, guys who made super like nice bags, everything. And nobody had any idea. So then years went by, and then eventually I was tired of just having shitty flip-flops, and I just wanted to do it myself. I just wanted to try it. So I took a few bucks and I went to the leather store, and I'm like, hey, which one's leather? You know, and most people have zero understanding of leather. Like, you know, especially what I know now, it's what's the difference between your sofa, a baseball glove, a saddle on a horse, a gun holster, seats in a Ferrari? Like, what's the difference?
Yeah. Most of it's pleather, right? Most of it's not real.
Most of it is, Most of it's not even low-grade leather. It's just synthetics. And a lot of that came from Nikes in the 70s when they started producing shoes. It's expensive to use leather. You got to be skilled, and it's a costly item. So let's just use a big sheet of fabric where we could get 100% yield out of it. And that's kind of like why people went away from wood. Like, this is a nice, beautiful wood desk, but most people would see wood and they would know particle board or something from IKEA. And it's kind of like that with leather is there's a giant disparity in what leather is. And I'll give you one quick example. Like, if you get a nice designer Kenneth Cole belt nowadays, and you were to cut it in half, if you look in the middle, it's going to be cardboard. There's going to be no leather. But what they will do is they'll take a little bit of fragments, basically like sawdust equivalent, and they'll sprinkle a little bit of that in there in the adhesive, and they'll say it's made with real leather.
Just like particle board, where it's just like dust and
it's
wood
made
compressed.
with, and by the definition of the word, there is leather in there, so it's made with leather, but it's not made out of leather.
They just want it to look and feel leather.
And they don't need it to last because nobody cares. Nobody cares. They want something cheap. They want the brand name. They want to wear it a couple times, and that's it. That's how most things are made. So I really had to go deep into understanding the different types of leather and the quality. And then eventually I made a pair of flip-flops just for myself, and they were okay. Like to nowadays, they were trash, but at the time they were okay. And then one of my teammates, I've been doing jiu-jitsu since the 90s. One of my teammates wanted a pair of flip-flops, and I was like, yeah, let me this weekend if I get time. And then I made him a pair, and we just hang out in the shop, and we started joking around that we'll just call the company Toehold. It wasn't a brand, it was just a joke, a hangout thing we did after practice. We'd go and we'd hang out in the garage. Pardon me. We would make flip-flops. We just started calling it Toehold as a joke.
Yeah.
And then a guy from another gym wanted a pair, and I was like, nah, these aren't for you. This guys kept asking and asking. I just tell them no.
You're being selective.
Yeah,
nah.
no, these aren't. I'm not. We never did it like, dude, I got this idea. We can make tons of money.
Yeah.
It was never like
you
that.
You did it for yourself.
Just for myself.
Yeah.
And even to this day, we still kind of keep that philosophy. If we get somebody who's like a dick, we'll be like, fuck no, you don't get one. You can't buy them. I'll cancel their order. Like we don't want customers like that.
I like that selectiveness.
So one is we put a lot of heart and soul into making these. Every pair is made by hand, and there's 550 steps that go into making one pair. They're expensive, for what people are used to. Now for making flip-flops, for what they are, they're not expensive at all. But compared to the contrast of what people are used to getting from China, low quality, toxic, just trash material, those are $10, $20, $50. So that's what they know as being flip-flops. If you want something that's made in America with 100% American-made products and made by Americans, it costs $500. It costs $1,000. It costs $1,500. That's what it costs.
Yeah, boots from Fry are $500.
And the moment you notice the difference and you understand what the difference in the product is, then suddenly you have something that's well worth it. But if you just compare one to another, if you knew nothing about Rolex watches and you've only been wearing like a Swatch, like a $20 Swatch watch, and I handed you a Rolex, you'd be like, oh, that looks cool. But you wouldn't really understand the intricacies and the detail and what goes into it to make that and the quality. So what we did is just being psychotically obsessed with what I do, we just kept looking for better and better and better materials. And what we do now is we buy a leather. There's only 2 tanneries in the United States left that make leather the old-fashioned way. And there's really 2 types of leather. There's what's called vegetable tanned, and there's chrome tanned. Vegetable tan is the way leather's been made for thousands and thousands of years. And what it is you get the hide, you soak it in this barrel, or you'd cut a big like tub out of the ground, out of stone. You'd soak it in this mix of tree bark, roots, tannins, natural stuff. And what that would do is it would be a natural preservative to the leather. Takes a long time to make. The leather we get, it's in the process for like 2 months of soaking, and then it's like a total of 7 months to make a piece of leather
before you can cut it.
Before it's finished.
Yeah,
that's just a tanning process. So extremely lengthy period. The contrary is what's called chrome tan leather. It takes a day to make. It's made with chromium. It's a quick process which preserves the leather. It's also extremely toxic. So much so that in the horse, like the equine industry with horses, they virtually only use vegetable tan because the chrome tan will burn the hair on the horse.
Oh, wow.
It'll leave like a scar on the horse. And now if you get a $50 pair of flip-flops, or if you get like a wallet or a bag or even a gun holster, if you have a chrome tanned gun holster, it'll tarnish your gun. It'll corrode the metal on it. That's how bad it is.
Wow.
But
how would you know the difference when looking at it? You wouldn't?
I would.
Yeah.
But a normal person, it'd be tough for them to tell.
Where are those tanneries located at in the country?
So there's one in St. Louis, and then the one we primarily use is in Pennsylvania, in Amish country. It's been there for 155 years.
Wow.
And they still do things the old-fashioned way. And they make very limited supply. And the thing is, with these old tanneries, you can't call them up and be like, I want to buy something from you. You have to build a personal relationship with them. So in the very beginning, we were poor. We had no money. I put all my money. So when we finally decided to turn this into a company, I quit my job and would just focus entirely on this.
Yeah.
And I was always making good money doing sales and things like that. I had worked for Apple. I was in senior leadership. We were doing like $100 million a year out of our store. You know, we had awards. We were in Forbes magazines. We were fucking crushing it.
Where was this at?
Las Vegas.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And then I decided, I did a couple odd jobs after that, like a couple consulting jobs after Apple. But then I started Toehold, and I wanted to apply like that same level of service and quality that I learned at Apple into our products. And when you go to try to buy leather, one is you don't have the money. Two is you don't have the relationship to even buy it from these guys. They won't sell it to you because you won't know what to do with it.
Yeah. Yeah.
You need to really do something special. So if you came along and you're like, I want to start a flip-flop company, you can make a flip-flop company. We didn't invent flip-flops. We're not protective of them. We actually encourage more people to start flip-flop companies so it becomes a bigger industry. But a bigger industry in America.
Yeah.
But after you build relationships with these guys, they respect what you do. They respect your value system. In this place, they're all bow hunters. They're all bow hunters, like they're championship bow hunters. They're championship marksmen. So they love that we hunt. They love our messaging, love our products. And we get the pick of the litter on their best stuff. So we buy the best, the absolute best American leather in the world. So out of everything they produce, we buy the best of it. We bring it to our shop. We grade it, and then out of a hide, we only take a small portion across the spine where it's the absolute strongest. The rest of it we discard, or we use it for key fobs and things like that. So we're only taking the best out of the best out of the best. So, and what happens with this vegetable tan leather, the reason why it's so important to use is it molds and shapes to your specific foot.
Yeah.
Where synthetics, what they do is they'll bind and they'll restructure your foot. So your foot's normally splayed out where your toes are really wide and they're spread out, sort of like your hand, how your hand is. But over the years, you start wearing shoes and it starts pulling your toes closer together. And it starts causing a lot of atrophy in your foot. Now, one thing that I hate talking about is like foot health, because it's dumb and it's fucking lame, but it's real.
Yeah.
And what happens is we all have super weak feet nowadays.
Yeah,
and it's because of shoes and boots and things like that. Now, there is a time where you need to wear boots. There is a time where shoes are beneficial. But to live in them, you're causing atrophy. And here's the thought process behind it. If from your ankle up, if you were to injure yourself, if you broke your femur, you hurt your hand, the physical therapist is going to want movement, blood flow, circulation. They're going to want you to move, get that extremity going. With your feet, they want more stagnant, more sediation. So they're going to be like, let's put something more under your arch. Let's reshape how you stand. All those things are what fuck your feet up.
Yeah.
All of those things. You should have zero arch support under your feet. And here's the reason why. That arch is like an aesthetic thing on your foot. It's not something that needs to be supported. It makes no sense. No sense at all. It makes as much sense as walking around with a neck brace on all the time. And when your neck starts to hurt because it's weak, a doctor comes along and says, hey, you know what? You need a better neck brace.
Yeah, cast that neck.
Yeah, less mobility. So that's the thought process of what happens with the foot in a shoe. You basically are creating a hoof from the ankle down. That foot needs to bend and move and grab the earth and contort and shape and balance and do all those things it was designed to do. But Nike ruined all that when they created modern footwear. So before Nike, everything was made out of vegetable tan leather. Everything your grandparents wore, high quality dress shoes, cowboy boots, all the way back through history, all the way back to the Romans, even the Egyptians, they wore vegetable tan. It's shaped, but they wore it on everything. Your sword was holstered in vegetable tan. Your shield had straps. Even armor was made out of vegetable tan. It was a mainstay of our culture. But we've since phased that out because these big corporations, it's expensive to use, it's hard to get. You buy this big piece and we can only use a portion of it. Well, that's going to take profits. So they don't do that. But what this stuff does is it molds and shapes to your specific foot. So regardless of how your foot is shaped, now the contrary, if you were to go to a mall and try on just a pair of shoes or flip-flops, you're going to get something that already has an arch in it. And maybe there's like little pockets for your toes. Whose foot is that? It's not your foot.
Yeah.
Some dude in a factory in China decided that's the way your foot should be shaped. And that's what they're going to do.
Yeah.
So foot health nowadays is extremely poor. And a guy that was on Rogan, Henry Cejudo's strength and conditioning coach, had said, he's an Olympic coach, he said he works with the best athletes in the world. And universally, what they all have is weak feet. Every single one of them.
Really?
Every single one of them. That's the number one opportunity and weakness out of athletes across every field, whether it be skiers, fighters, boxers, track and field, because every one of them has their foot bound all the time.
Yeah, it's a good analogy, being bound, because every single flip-flop, my foot's 13, and my toes are long, and I have a wide-ass foot, so I have huge feet. Every flip-flop in my size is made for a narrow Japanese man. I don't know. I don't know why. And it doesn't fit right. I noticed with your flip-flops, out the gate, I was like, oh, this is stiff. And then they started molding to my feet. And I'm like, oh, now it's like that leather boot that you've been wearing for 20 years. It just fits perfect. And like I put them on and I feel comfortable because my feet have a home versus being contorted in one way or another. And I can only, it's the analogy for shoes, or the example for shoes is it's like zero drop, right? I mean, there's my shoes, my Ultras are all zero drop because I don't want the incline or the high arch support. I want my foot to spall, right? I want to build that strength. And your flip flop is a zero drop flip flop. I mean, it's like as natural as you could be and protecting you from all the shit that's on the ground.
Hey guys, if you know Fieldcraft Survival, if you know Mike Force, if you know me, then you likely know about Montana Knife Company. Montana Knife Company was founded by a buddy of mine, Josh Smith, master bladesmith for 30 years. One of the most experienced knife makers in the country, and he's had no compromise in all the integrity because he's making all of his knives. He's made that decision early on, by the way, to make all of his knives made in the USA, manufactured locally in his home state of Montana. Designed, tested, and built by hunters, Montana Knife Company is a hunting knife company first and foremost. Likely the sharpest knives in the market. I mean, you likely need a bleeding control kit if you're going to own a Montana knife, and that's a good problem to have. They sell out instantaneously. But for the first time in the history of his company, because he's gotten ahead, he has stock of your favorite knives, including the Blackfoot 2.0, the Speedgoat, or the Stonewall Skinner. And you could save 10% by using MF10. That's Mike Foxtrot 10, MF10 for 10% off your first order at montanaknifecompany.com.
The ideal way to walk would be barefoot.
Yeah.
But we can't do that. The ground's covered in glass and rocks, and it's not comfortable. And,
Yeah.
the next best thing is a pair of our flip-flops.
Yeah.
Because what you get is, at the very bottom, you get an American-made strip of Vibram tread. Vibram is the world's best tread manufacturer. It's omnidirectional. It's non-slip. From there, you always have a thick strip of vegetable tan leather. And then from there, you get a logo, pattern, design, whatever you want on there. Sometimes, I believe with yours, on top of them, there's a piece of exotic leather. Like, did you get yours from Andy's wedding?
His wedding? Yeah.
So those are blue,
Fancy.
saltwater crocodile. We get elephant, hippo, ostrich. I mean, we got the most exotic leathers in the world.
Yeah.
We buy them directly from these tanneries, which are government controlled overseas. So the only thing we have that's not American made is the exotic leathers, because we don't have elephants and hippos here.
Yeah.
So there'll be, let's say, a situation like an elephant dies in Africa, in Zimbabwe. That's a popular region. And it could die for whatever reason. It could be poached. It could die of natural causes. They can hunt it. Or it could just be wounded in a fight and die. So what's an often common scenario is the villagers will find the animal first and they'll start harvesting it. And they know that they're going to get money for the hide. So what they'll do is they'll cut it in a way where they preserve it. A government official will come in and take the hide, and they take the bones. The bones have a lot of value to scientists, and they use them in museums for like woolly mammoth exhibits and things like that. That hide will go to a tannery. They'll tan it, and then they'll start pre-selling it. And one of our brokers that are around the world will say, "Hey, we got 25 cubic yards or cubic meters of elephant coming in. Do we want to bid on it?" And I'll be like, "Yeah, I'd put $7,000 on it, or put $4,000, whatever it might be." If we win that, they get 100% of the money that goes directly back to park funding for anti-poaching, whatever they want to use it for.
Mostly anti-poaching.
We take that hide, and then we deal with any flack we get from environmentalists, which I don't give a fuck about those guys.
Yeah.
And then we sell it to our customers.
Yeah.
So they get 100% of their money up front. And that's the way a lot of those parks get their funding.
Yeah.
Everybody wants to preserve the animals and save the animals, but nobody writes a check, right?
Yeah.
We write a check every month, and they're all big checks.
A conservation check.
Exactly.
This is going back to conservation.
It's going back to breeding, to be able to manage the herd. And also, if these parks run out of money because it's Africa and nothing over there works well, those game wardens, they'll poach the animals themselves if they run out of money.
Yeah.
It's just nothing over there works well.
Yeah.
But this is one thing that helps sustain the survivability of some of those species.
Crazy. Let's talk the business side of this, because I imagine footwear, like most the burden I see in most markets is if you make it so good, it's non-consumable because it lasts a lifetime. And then that's a one and done kind of deal. And when you look at flip-flops, the history of me growing up in Florida, born in Cali, growing up in Florida, like I grew up in flip-flops. And I'm also Asian. We usually are tethered to some kind of flip-flop. And every single flip-flop I had a shelf life. And it was a season before they would blow out. They have a flat tire. I throw them in the trash, and they're semi-disposable. When you have like a Fry boot or an Origin boot, they're so well made. You're like, well, this is the boot. I'm wearing this. And I imagine that's not a problem, but a dilemma in business when you look at all the elements of how do you need to make money. How big is the flip-flop business, and how has it been as a business through growth and evolving?
So flip-flops are the number one worn footwear in the world, all throughout Asia, all throughout Africa, all throughout the Middle East, all throughout South America, throughout some of North America, and throughout some of Europe. Yeah. So it's the number one footwear in the world. And in most of those countries, you could get a pair of flip-flops for like $1. They break. And they recently did a study on one of those shows, Business Insider, big show. And the study showed that 25%, let this sink in, 25% of ocean plastics are made up of flip-flops. Plastic, disposable flip-flops. Yeah. And if you Google like flip-flops on the beach, Africa, flip-flops on the beach, India, or flip-flops on the beach, Asia, you're just going to see hundreds of thousands of them laying across the beach.
Yeah, it's that real light foamy crap.
Yep.
With that real like shiny plastic
exactly.
piece. Yeah.
The toxic portion of them, I mean, that happens, but it's we don't sell our products on that merit, you know?
Of course.
But you're putting your foot on something and you're sweating and absorbing something that's extremely toxic. The stuff they use in that plastic, that rubber, it's a hodgepodge of different stuff they find around their shop. There's no ethics to what they're using.
Yeah.
And then when they break, they wind up in the street, and over there's no landfills. They wind up in a river. The river is packed with trash, winds up in the ocean. So the market is gigantic. So
it's everybody.
Yeah. Everybody's our potential customer. Now, here's the thing. We created our own category. Nobody in the world makes a high-quality flip-flop. Nobody. The only person that makes something similar, and it's not of the quality, would be Louis Vuitton. They make a flip-flop every season for girls. I could break it with my pinkies.
Yeah.
It's $1,200. It looks really nice. It's a great piece of fashion. It's a great fashion item for chicks. But it's not something that you can fight in, you could run in, you can take hunting. I hunt only in flip-flops. I hike up mountains only in flip-flops.
Really?
I step on cactuses with my flip-flops all the time.
Yeah.
We have a video of Brian Shaw, the world's strongest man, trying to break a pair of our flip-flops, and he can't do it.
Really?
Yeah, you haven't seen it? I'll show you afterwards.
No, I got to see it, yeah.
So
we should add it as a clip. We'll add it as a clip in this.
So that guy picks up airplanes. He picks up cars. He's the strongest guy in the world. The thing is, the thong is made out of paracord, and it's welded on both ends. And the way that we've interwove it through the flip-flop, it's the part that has the most stress put on it in a situation where your foot's in the mud or in the water, or somebody steps on the back of your flip-flop. That's the weakest point. Ours, it's the strongest point.
It's 550 cord?
Yeah.
I did not know that.
Yeah, it's 550 cord. Ours is actually a little bit stronger. It's like 750 cord, but nobody knows what 750 cord is, so we just call it 550 cord.
Yeah.
It's really strong.
Yeah, paracord is the tensile strength is in the strands that are in the sleeve.
Exactly.
That create, that displace all the energy.
I have videos of me sticking my foot up to my knee in mud and just ripping my foot out, and the flip-flop's still there.
That's crazy.
Yeah, they're unbreakable.
Because they're called thongs, right? Most thongs, they just are inserted through the sole, and then it's like a plastic cap or something, and you could just rip it through. That's how it's blown out most
Exactly.
of the time.
And then our straps, they're double-sided, so there's top grain. I could spend 2 hours talking about leather quality and all that type of stuff, but what we do is we take 2 strips of full-grain leather, we bond them together, and then we use copper rivets to weld them inside of the flip-flop. So any motion that your foot can make sidestep, you roll your ankle, they're not going to break. They're not going to break on you at all. You can walk down a hill with them and put all your body weight on the thong. They're not going to break. It's being from San Diego, we'd walk down those steep bluffs like in Torrey Pines, La Jolla, Carlsbad. You could put all your body weight on them. They're not going to break.
That's crazy. When did you start this company?
7 years ago.
So in 7 years, what's some of the challenges that you faced in evolving this business? Because I imagine supply.
I love this question.
The logistics supply chain is crazy. And then social media.
So the most difficult thing, the supply chain things, that stuff happens, building relationships, all that sort of stuff. Even today, as we become, well over $1 million a year company, we get more people interested in what we're doing. Now we're able to buy the absolute best in the world. And side topic real quick, and don't let me forget. So we just recently set the world record for the most expensive pair of leather flip-flops ever sold. We created a pair of flip-flops made out of this extremely rare, it's called a Himalayan crocodile. It's a Nile crocodile that's a white crocodile with a birthmark, if you will, that goes down laterally on it. And it looks like the peaks of the Himalayas. Now, Hermes, for all the fashion gurus that listen to this podcast, Hermes is like one of the biggest fashion brands in the world. And they make a bag called the Birkin bag. That bag sells for $500,000. Only the ultra elite have it.
It's a leather bag?
It's a leather bag. It's made out of a Nile crocodile.
Yeah.
So it's the most expensive fashion item in the world that isn't a watch. So only like the Kim Kardashians, the Oprah Winfrey's, the Beckham's wife, whatever her name is, those guys, you have to be invited to buy it. So we have one of those, but we could only get one because we built relationships to be able to buy something like that.
Wait, so you had access to the bag?
We had access to the leather.
Oh, to the leather. Okay.
Yeah. So we recently made a pair. We sold them for $5,000 and set a world record for the most expensive leather flip-flops ever sold. There's a pair out there that someone's asking $18,000 for. They're Chinese made, and they just have like an artist's sketch on them, and they're saying that they're 18 grand, and if somebody buys them, this money will go to blank. But nobody bought them. Somebody bought ours. And our customers, they bought them within 60 seconds of us talking about them. They bought them instantaneously. Our customers buy stuff super
that's not
fast.
A challenge. What's the challenge? You guys... What's your most difficult thing that you faced in this business?
So that's a great question. So it's not the supply. That stuff happens, The most difficult thing we've had to do is ignore people's advice. The most difficult thing.
Interesting.
We're blessed to have some friends that are really famous and they know extremely wealthy people.
Yeah.
Multi-millionaires. And we had some of the most famous people on earth telling us what we're doing was wrong. We were priced wrong. You got to go overseas. You got to lower the price. You got to be $70 price point. We could get you in Target. We could get you in the Grammys. We could get you in the Beverly Hilton Hotel. We can do all these things. And to be so steadfast in the face of these ultra wealthy people with houses in Malibu and in Spain and in Australia, opulent wealth, to say, no, we're not going to do that. That's the most difficult part. And only because my gut instinct have we been able to say no to all the right situations. To all the situations that would have been wrong for us.
Because you guys, do you sell only direct to consumer?
Yes.
And that's for a lot of business like QU, like even us. I mean, we don't sell in retail. That is something very personal between the entrepreneur that started the business and how they build their business, right? Because there's a different metric for somebody who's potentially giving you advice. Hey, drop the price point, mass manufacture and mass scale in big box retail, because that's a different model for business. It's not as intimate. Yeah, sure, it might bring in the money, but it's not an actual small business. It's not an intimate business.
The world is flooded with low quality flip-flops.
Yeah.
The world's flooded. We wanted, so my goal when I started this was to simply make the best flip-flop on the planet. I don't give a fuck if it costs $70 million. That's what we're going to do.
Yeah.
We're lucky we could keep it around $400 for our entry stuff, $1,000 for the exotic. And for a lot of people we know, that's outside of your price range. We appreciate the support. Even if you follow us on Instagram, that's all the support we ask for. You know, we know that not everybody can afford our product. But our goal wasn't to make it for everybody. Our motto is we're not for everybody, you know? So we want to make the absolute best, and we do everything we can to make it better. And every single week we're finding a step, a process, a material that incrementally gets better. We're now on generation 25.
Wow.
We've done 25 different versions.
Constantly evolving.
Every single one of them. And I hate every pair we ever make. Like, none of them are ever good enough. There's
Yeah.
always something better that we can do.
Well, that's very interesting because a lot of people, when you say it's not for everybody, a lot of people will spend excessive amounts of money on a pair of cowboy boots, for example. Like my cowboy boots, my Lachase, however you say it. Lachase, out of Dallas, Texas, are $500+.
Yep.
My Fry boots, $500+. And so when you go to flip-flops, you're like, oh, but I only pay $10 for flip-flops.
Exactly.
Because the entire market is positioned for cheap crap.
Exactly.
And nobody's positioned it for like, oh, if I buy this pair of Toeholds, I'm going to have them forever like my Fry boots. And they're just going to be on the shelf, and it's my go-to.
Yeah. And most of those boots are made over the border.
They are.
And they're brought back.
Yeah.
Now, a little fun fact, we're getting into the cowboy boot industry.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I'll be your first buyer.
Thank you. So same thing, to make the best boots in the world. And luckily I have a friend who I believe is the best boot maker in the world. He makes only custom boots. So you go to a shop, he takes a mold of your foot, spends like 2 hours measuring your foot. Then he's going to make a wooden last, build it around.
Really?
Yeah, it's crazy.
Oh, I love that.
It's crazy. When you come to Vegas, I'll take you to our shop.
Dude, my friend, what's his name?
Javier.
What's the company?
Old Country.
I think
You do.
I messaged those guys.
Yep.
I was going to do like a mini documentary.
I sent you their link.
You sent me the link to that.
Yep.
Yeah, that
They're
dude does it legit.
They're the best.
I got chills. I don't
in
know
the
why.
world.
It's crazy.
Yeah, they're the best in the world.
Yeah, it's my favorite cowboy hat making place, which I found out later it doesn't do all the things they used to do. It's Rand's out of Billings, Montana, and they do the same thing. They put the old equipment on your head, they measure everything, and then they do all the measurements, and it's a very arduous process, but then they outsource everything. But to get something that's made from a craftsman that's insourced, that takes, I don't care how long it takes. I'll be on the waiting list just a year.
Yeah.
I'll wait a year for those boots.
We're switching culturally because some of our customers are normal guys. They work in the oil fields, they're linemen, they're cops, huge amount of law enforcement and military, just normal guys, right? And we know they work hard for their money, and we want to, and most importantly, we want to give them a product that's worth their money. We also have some customers that are super wealthy, that have all the money in the world, and they'll just simply say, make me something.
Yeah.
They don't care what it is, just make them something. They want one-offs. But this is the thing. When you have money, your options to buy things are, you want to get your wife something, go buy her a Louis Vuitton bag. I could buy my wife also a Louis Vuitton bag. I'm not married, but I could. I could buy a Ferrari. You could buy a Ferrari. We could all buy the same shit. With flip-flops, these are very specific, and each one is unique. We may only have a small piece of hide. Like we had a piece of hide from a hippo that killed a villager in Zimbabwe. We were able to get with the guy. Yeah, we got with the guy that pulled the depredation tag to kill it.
Yeah.
I bought some of the hide off him, and we made some stuff out of it. We sold it to our customers. So there's people walking around with bags, with key fobs, with wallets and stuff that are made from a hippo that killed a human being. There's cool stuff like that. And
that's awesome.
If you're just a normal guy and everyone has the same shit, guess what? You have something unique. And that uniqueness has left the business world.
Yeah. The stories, the connection between you and material
who makes
items.
your stuff? I don't know. Who's the owner of Lachase? I don't know.
Yeah.
All those guys, people want to know who's making their stuff. People want to know who's producing their stuff, who's cooking their food, who's making their car, who's doing anything. They want to know those people. They want those relationships. And most importantly, they want their values to align with them.
Yeah, that's something that's very interesting about you guys because, I grew up with Andy over the course of time watching his affection for Toehold and all the things you guys stand for. And you've taken a very clear and concise position in the market. And it's very unconventional. I mean, it's guerrilla marketing for sure. And you've gone against the grain almost nearly everything, and you guys are very active in it. What's the marketing strategy for you, and what are some things that you've been faced with or challenged with, or have you just kind of accepted the reality?
So from the get-go, our Instagram has just simply been me documenting my life.
Yeah.
That's it. There's no strategy. It's if I hang out with a hot chick, we take a video of that.
Yeah.
If I'm out shooting with my friends, we take a video of that. If some of my UFC buddies are over and we're doing whatever the fuck we're doing, we take a video of that.
Very organic.
Very organic.
Yeah.
It's all shot on my iPhone. No professional cameras whatsoever.
Really?
Although once in a while we will, because one of my buddies who's a good photographer will be like, hey, let me shoot something.
Yeah.
But it's all done with an iPhone. And remember, I used to work for Apple, so I'm good with the phone.
Yeah.
You know, I know
those are good videos.
Thank you. Yeah. The camera's incredible. But to circle back real quick, so one of the things we did was ignored everybody else. And we created a separate category that doesn't exist. And we're still growing that. That category of something high quality, a high quality flip-flop brand doesn't exist. So when you spend $500 with our flip-flops, you're getting the best material made in America. When you buy a pair of those $500 or $1,000 Nikes that people see nowadays, those cost them $4 to $7 to make. There's no difference in material.
Wow.
They're all the same synthetics, just different colors. They're not using real anything.
Yeah.
There's a real thing that happens with scarcity. People are willing to buy more, right?
course.
That's a real thing.
Yeah, that's
but
real.
there's no value increased in that product.
Yeah.
That still only cost them $4 to make, but they're selling it now for $1,000. You know, and so a lot of them will purposely built in scarcity simply to do that. So we don't do any of that sort of stuff. Our items are naturally scarce because there's not a lot of elephant in the world that's high quality. There's not a lot of stingray leather that's the size we want, that's virtually perfect and needs to meet the grade of what our customers deserve. And we got this firm belief that when you stamp that sacred badge that is made in America, you have to absolutely believe and do everything in your power that that's worthy of that badge. That the American customer, even though we sell worldwide, that we still believe that if you put something out that says it's made in America and it's not the absolute best in the world, you're doing a disservice to everybody. Because that badge should, when somebody sees that made in America badge, they should know that's the fucking best. It's the absolute best. There's no compromise. And the reason we don't need a compromise is because we've never taken a cent from everybody. We refuse investors. We refuse people trying to put money into our company, because as soon as you do, they're your boss.
Yeah.
We've had a few Saudi guys interested in what we're doing. No, thanks. We have a few people, celebrities interested. No, thanks. You know, we make plenty of money. We make a really nice living, but most importantly, the staff that we have, all of them are paid very well. Yeah. Very well. They start at $30 an hour to make flip-flops.
Dang.
And most of them make double that.
Where is that? Where are your
Las
flip-flops
Vegas.
made? All Vegas.
Yeah, everything's made in Vegas.
Do you have it? Is it all in house? Like you do all the stuff in
We
house?
have a big 3-car garage at my house that we do everything at.
Really?
We could get a shop.
Wow.
But there's no reason. It'd be the same size.
Yeah.
So the good thing is that if a customer messages us, and this is the customer service portion that I wanted to get into, a customer could message me at midnight and say, AG, do you have anything in blue? I want to get something for my wife. I could take 2 steps off my couch, walk out to the shop, and send them a video of everything we have available.
I used to do that in my house. I love it.
Personal shopping.
That's awesome, man.
And then along with that Made in America badge, there's also something that companies fail at a lot, and it's the customer service side of things, right? Every company that cares will always do the right thing after the fact. We don't want to get to an after the fact situation. So when you message us, we firmly believe that your message should be answered in under an hour, the absolute max.
Oh, wow.
Absolute max.
This is through email or through phone?
Any way you message us.
Yeah.
You send us an email. Most of the time when you email us, you'll get a response back within 60 seconds because it'll ping on my phone. It's the only thing that pings on my phone is our work. It's you go to the website and you write shoot us an email.
Yeah.
Most of the time customers think it's automated because it's so fast. You message us on Christmas Day, we'll respond within 60 seconds.
Crazy.
And here's why. Because I know that your kids, your wife, your friends, your boss, whoever it is opening up their package on Christmas Day, and they might have questions, right?
Yeah.
Or they got a brand new gift card and they're excited to use it.
Yeah.
They send us a message just asking, hey, what are my options? Do you have anything that's not on the website? And right away, we're able to respond to them, you know?
Yeah.
And we crush it on fucking Christmas Day on sales, and nobody else does. Who the fuck is shopping on Christmas Day?
Yeah.
Our customers are, because we're available.
Yeah.
And we always send this challenge out, and we send a challenge out to our friends too to get better. Go to your favorite company and send them a message and set a timer and see how long it takes for them to respond.
Yeah.
Even our friends that have big companies, they don't do it.
Yeah.
I'll get you on Monday. Fuck that.
Yeah.
No. 7 days a week, 365 days a year. If we're advertising to you and you want to buy something from us, it's our obligation. It's our duty to be there for you. I think I'm the perfect customer. I don't have kids. I don't have a wife. I have a shitload of disposable income. If you have a company and you're wanting to sell something, I'm your ideal guy. I'm going to give you all the money, and I'm going to require zero pampering or customer service. You would not believe how many companies lose my business simply because they don't respond.
Yeah.
So think about the end of the year, you make $1 million, right? But then you don't respond. You have the potential to make $1 million, but you don't respond. Now you're at 900,000. You didn't respond to this guy or that guy. Now you're at 875.
So true.
You start working your way down, and pretty soon you're a $150,000 a year company because you didn't realize all those interactions you lost by not responding. When a customer messages you, they want to purchase something immediately.
Yeah.
Not
They're
later,
ready to transact.
right then.
Yeah.
You know? So that's our other belief is when you message us, shoot us, if you're listening to this, shoot us a DM on Instagram at TOE_HOLD at Toehold, and watch how fast we respond to you.
Really?
You might catch us a window from like midnight to 4 a.m. where it takes us a little while.
Yeah.
But
You're sleeping?
yeah, because I'm required to sleep, but we're always going to respond fast.
Yeah.
So that's the other part of it is so many people focus on just the product. So having a beautiful world-class product, that's the price of admission to us. You know, that's not enough for us. You know, that's for most guys. They're like, dude, I have the best gun in the world. I make the best sword. I make the best, whatever it is. That to us is the price of admission. That's just, you have a business. That's the bare minimum. Now everything else you do is the difference.
Crazy.
The customer interaction is the difference. The personalization, tons of people have my phone number. They can message me all the time. They want to buy something, message me.
Yeah,
That's what I'm here for.
Every time I'm online, I see you engaging and interoperating with people and partnering.
You got to. It's the most important thing. Also, here's our other belief too. You put your best man forward. So when I was at Apple, we would have somebody that could call into the store level. We would take one of our best people, we'd move them to the phones. And normally the person on the phone is somebody who like hurt their ankle playing pickleball or something. You're like, all right, your leg's broken, go answer phones. Yeah. No. That first contact with our customers, that's where all the money is made. So when you message us, oftentimes you're going to reach me because I'm the best at it. You know, we have other guys in our team that are really good, but they're not better than me. So I'm the best, I'm going to do it. What the fuck are other CEOs doing?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, you're answering to your investors.
Yeah.
You're answering to your investors. You're looking at reports. Fuck that.
Yeah.
I'm not going to do that.
Yeah.
I'll hire an $8 an hour guy to go look at the numbers, to go check our projections. I don't care about that.
Interesting.
Best man forward, flip your company around, do everything backwards.
Is that what you did at Apple when you ran that store?
Yes. We took that store from like $10 million a year to almost $100 million a year.
Oh my God. Very
Because I knew we had customers coming in, but we weren't getting the sales.
Yeah.
And we weren't getting the sales at Apple because a lot of those guys were foreigners and there was a language barrier. So what we did was I just sat on the floor and watched a little while, watched the interactions. And these guys were coming in, they had money, they were influent people in their country. But what happens when you talk to American and you have bad English? I'm sorry, I can't understand what you're saying. You're embarrassed. So we taught our staff how to greet people in some common languages and to say some common things that they might be interested in. So you're from Brazil, you might be the dad and you have a couple adult kids with you and you're coming in to buy 50 phones to take back to your employees and to your people. So we'd come in and we'd be like, hey, where are you from? We'd be like, we're from Brazil. And we'd be like, oi, como vai você? Oi, como vai você? iPhone 5 desbloqueado 16 GB. And it'd be like, hey, how are you? We have iPhones are unlocked, 16 gigs.
Wow.
And what we did is we just showed a little bit of vulnerability. And then that person, they always know better English than, you know, and then they start talking. Now no one's embarrassed.
Yeah.
Right? Now they just spent $37,000.
And they were ready to transact when they came in. And that
Exactly.
experience was what determined.
But that awkward interaction that they wanted to avoid, what was preventing that store from making so much money. And we always put our best person forward. Always put your best guys in the front. You call the phone company, you're going to get some fucking dickhead up front. And then if you want to cancel, you'll get their best guys last.
Yeah.
Do it the opposite.
That's true.
Put their best guys forward.
They'll scale you up to their best guy.
You'll get the Philippines first, and then if you keep complaining, eventually you'll get to somebody in America.
It's true.
Yeah, not with us.
Hey guys, this podcast is brought to you by the U.S. Concealed Carry Association. You know we're big fans of survival, and survival always depends on one question. How prepared are you? Just like we work to be prepared to survive any situation, the USCCA trains you to be prepared and feel confident as a gun owner, especially if you ever need to use it in self-defense. I've been a member for over 3 years because not only do I get access to their online Protector Academy, where I can learn from experts on critical aspects of survival, such as how to shoot accurately under pressure and how to prepare for family and home defense planning, but I also get self-defense liability insurance in case I'm ever involved in a dangerous incident. There's a reason 800,000 American gun owners like myself trust them. So check them out at uscca.com/FCS to claim your risk-free benefits right now, as well as a free gift when you sign up. That's uscca.com/FCS. Thanks, guys.
How do you evolve as a business from here? Because there's a line in the sand for you personally of things that you won't compromise on. And so like big box retail would be really hard to do, right?
No,
really?
Not for me.
Yeah.
I ran so our team at Apple, we were the kings of retail, the global kings of retail. Nobody does it better than Apple. So our store would make like $7,300 per square foot. The next biggest person, Tiffany's, would be like $2,800. Nobody compares to us.
Yeah.
So if we wanted to do retail, there's not a better person besides maybe some of my colleagues from Apple that can do it. Mm-hmm. I don't want to do retail. We might do something cool what you guys have. And this place is incredible.
Yeah.
Where you guys have like a retail thing up front, but people are coming here. You're manufacturing your product right here.
Yeah.
You know, you got the shoot house, all that stuff. This place is great.
Yeah, thank you.
We might do something like this. We could come in and buy
boutique
stuff. Exactly.
Yeah.
But we would never do a booth at an event. We would never do a store, anything like that. We manufacture high quality stuff and we send it to our customers, and that's it.
Yeah, e-commerce space is what you prefer.
All online. We ship around the world.
Yeah.
You know, it's very limited stuff. It's high quality. And then we deal with some flack, but I don't give a shit about that.
Yeah, like what? What's the flack that you
People get mad that our flip-flops are expensive. We get environmentalists messaging us. We get fucking libtards messaging us.
Really?
All that sort of stuff, yeah.
Like, I never understood the expense thing. It's like you're shopping on my website and it's expensive and you don't like it, then you could just like...
People get mad that they can't afford things. And we wish everybody could afford things. But I wouldn't go and message Ferrari and get mad at them that I can't afford their car.
Yeah.
I'd be like, that car's sick. I want to work hard to be able to buy one.
Yeah.
You know? It's that mindset that the world needs losers. Right?
It is. It's sad.
The
it
world
must
needs,
be nice crew. We call them. It must be nice crew.
Guys like that, they can't not buy something because they can't afford it. They can't not buy something because that mindset puts them in the situation that they're in.
Interesting, yeah.
It's that away from motivation mindset where they're constantly, or they're always down and out, or they're always you could throw, we don't have time, but if we talked about my background, I got arrested, thrown in jail for something I didn't do. Did 2 years in a Supermax facility.
Oh, wow.
I've only finished 7th grade. I got no GED, no formal education whatsoever.
Wow.
Now they've since fixed the record. I have no record at all, you know, nothing like that. But like I got all the excuses. I grew up poor. All the guys doing fucking cold plunges nowadays. I was like, that was every day we showered as a kid. We didn't have hot water. We were poor as shit. You know what I mean? My grandma would go to like the soup kitchens and get food and stuff like that. She just make big bowls of oatmeal and stuff. Like we grew up super poor.
Yeah.
You know?
You grew up in Vegas as well?
San Diego.
San Diego, okay.
Like just in the sticks in San Diego.
Yeah.
And in a real violent neighborhood. So I have every excuse to be that guy, but like that to me doesn't even cross my fucking mind. You know what I mean? None of that stuff crosses my mind. None of that, whatever life we're living in America, no matter how bad it is, there's somebody in another country dreaming about the life you're complaining about.
100%.
I'm so blessed.
So
I'm
blessed.
so blessed.
Yeah. You said you're going to do boots. Do you have any plans? Well, when are you going to do boots, and how does that kind of roll out? And then do you have any other things planned in the leather sphere? Do you guys do anything else besides?
Yeah, so so the boots are currently being manufactured right now. You could pre-order them.
Really, right now?
Right now.
Okay, I'll do that.
They're going to be $2,000.
Yeah.
They're going to be the first pair is going to be solid
and Javier's
black. We're partnered on them. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we're doing it together.
Huge.
So the quality's there, you know. And then what we're going to do is the toe box, the square toe only, wide.
Yep.
It's going to be black pebbled American bison.
Oh, that's dope.
Nobody does that.
Nobody does that. That's badass.
I don't want to say that they're snake proof, but they're pretty fucking snake proof.
That's badass.
Yeah.
And it's square toed.
Square toe.
That's the only boots I'll wear.
Because our customers all, as they wear flip flops, their toes start to spread.
Yeah.
So you can't put them in a narrow toe.
Yeah.
Got to be big wide toe boxes.
And just don't wear pointy cowboy boots, guys. Just don't.
Don't do it. I only wear flip flops.
Yeah.
I have to wear shoes when I'm lifting weights at my gym because for some reason they think that a 45-pound weight, a cloth over my toes is going to protect them.
Yeah.
When I wear shoes, I get unstable. Like I feel like I'm on roller skates.
Yeah.
My ankles roll side to side. So I only wear flip flops. And if I go out to someplace nice, I'll wear cowboy boots.
Yeah.
Those are the two things I wear.
Same. And I wear the Ultras that I'm wearing now because it has a huge, I could spall my feet. Like
toe box,
splay. Yeah. The toe box is wide. All my cowboy boots are wide.
I think the shoes I wear are Ultras also.
Are they?
They're a running shoe, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're the best. These are brand new, which is why I'm going to pull them off. And like the ability for how
that's
wide
the same one I have
that is.
I have that in
with
blue.
zero drop. It's like that's the best, at least shoe that I've ever worn for trail running and stuff. Which I don't trail run anymore. But.
So we throw that challenge out. Message your favorite company. Reach out to them. See how long they take to respond.
I think we should do that. I think
it with everybody.
That would be a cool challenge.
I do it to all my friends. So I'll be like, message my boys at Black Rifle Coffee. Message my boys over this company.
Yeah.
Message my boys over here. See how long it takes.
We need to take a note to make sure we we get on that. I know. So the customer service strategy we have is retail. Our retail guys and gals do it all because they interact with the product so much, and they're active constantly. And so if a customer service email comes in during business hours, they're the first on it. And that's after years of lessons learned of fucking it up because we would get stuff and I'm like, dude, this is like 3 months old. This dude's asking for a new bag because his bag ripped. And if somebody DMs me, same deal, any errors, I don't care. I don't care if your shit got stolen out of a vehicle. We're going to send you new shit. I just can't stand that part of business where people have bad customer service.
We're the same way. We have no warranty on our stuff whatsoever because we don't need one.
Yeah.
We're going to make the decision. So when you start putting warranties and stuff like that out there, people start to nitpick them, and that's not the way we work. So you get a pair of flip-flops. What's going to happen is you get a pair of flip-flops. They're brand new. You're excited. You wear them. It takes a couple days to break in. If you have a dog, your dog's probably going to try to eat them because they're real leather. And your dog's never seen anything you've owned with real leather before. Your dog will chew the straps up, and you're like, fuck, dude, I just bought these. They're $1,000. Or my wife got them. The dog chewed them up. How much did it cost to fix them? And I'll tell you, send them back. Let me take a look at them. I don't know if we could do anything for you, but let me take a look. Send them back. We're going to fix them, send them new straps, and shoot them back. We're not going to tell them that. And we're not going to write that down on our website, but we're going to surprise and delight our customers every time.
Oh, I love that, man.
Every time.
I love that. Give me your favorite thing about Toehold and your business experience, and then the worst thing about it.
So there's a lot of favorites, but one thing that I like particularly, one is we get to meet the coolest people in the world. You know, we meet so many cool people, so many interesting people. And I always find it remarkable when somebody orders something and I just click, our website is super advanced. I just click Google Maps and I see where they live and they're like, holy shit, you're in the outback of Australia. You're in Perth. You're in Paraguay. You're in like Patagonia. Like the places people order our stuff from is crazy.
That's awesome.
So meeting the customers is cool. But the thing to me that's the coolest is that we've built something that our staff can work at and be completely isolated from all the modern bullshit. All the HR department, all the politically correct shit, all that type of stuff that nobody wants to work in, they're insulated from all that stuff. Nobody can ever do anything to them because they're our employees.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's a fun
they're
environment.
always going to get paid well.
Yeah.
They're always going to have fun. Our reward system is we take our guys out hunting. We buy them guns, like as bonuses.
Yeah.
One of our guys just got like a $4,000 HK AR-15.
Badass.
So that's what we do. A lot of guys want to come work for us, but you can't. We'll look for you. Don't look for us. You know, we're looking for something very specific in our team. And because we have hot chicks around all the time, we got to have people that could just be not distracted by having gigantic tits in their face and just still be able to work. It's almost like working in a strip club.
Yeah.
You know, and the girls aren't there all the time, but when we're doing photo shoots and stuff, it can't distract from the quality that you have to produce for the customer.
Yeah.
So, all the guys we have working for us, they're either jiu-jitsu guys or MMA fighters. Every single one of them.
Really?
So they're doing their MMA career and working full time, being able to make money, because most of those guys don't make shit for money.
It's hard.
And when they decide that MMA is not for them, because MMA is not a career, it's an opportunity.
Yeah.
You know, you have an opportunity to be famous, you have an opportunity to make some money, but you're not going to fight forever.
Yeah.
You know, and even if you're really, really good at it, it's not going to be lifelong money.
Yeah.
So you could build a career with us and still follow your dreams. We just had a guy just got done finished fighting, and he had to do weight cuts, and he had to do medicals, and he was just down and out from like cutting weight for the fight. Accommodate all that stuff.
Wow.
Fully accommodate. So that part's cool. And then I don't know if there's a worse part. I think,
or maybe challenging part.
Yeah, I think for me, this is easy, but I think for another person, it would be hard. Is back to what I was saying, trusting your gut instinct, you know, and having so many people telling you, no, you shouldn't do this. Because most guys would cave in. They'd be like, you know, well, that guy's super successful. That guy's a house in Malibu. Like, what do I know? I don't have shit. Like, I should listen to that guy. We would be unheard of. No one would know who we were if we listened to the people that gave us advice. And here's another fact too, or here's another point. Those guys, and this is for everyone who's listening to this, that is taking business advice from people. There's some guys that are good at business, but most guys are wholesalers. They don't make anything. You know, you have a t-shirt company, you bring in a shirt from China, you resell it, you make some money, and you ship that out. You don't make anything. Most guys do that, and they make a shitload of money doing that. We did something that none of those fucking guys can do. We made a brand, and we made it cool.
Yeah.
They can't do that.
Yeah, from 0 to 1.
You can't make a brand cool unless you're cool.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
No one's excited about, you know, a lot of the stuff they buy, you know? But with our brand, it's super cool. People like it. They like what we do. They like what we stand for. And we never, ever, ever have to compromise.
I love that, man. It's a perfect way to close it out. Where can people get a pair of Toeholds at?
So you could go to our website, but what we really suggest, follow us on Instagram. That's really our hub. Now, if you go to Instagram, type in TOE_HOLD, and oftentimes you're not going to find us because we've been shadow banned. So click on Mike Glover's page. He follows us, Andy Stump.
Yeah.
And just find somebody who follows us. It's a big green palm tree.
It's a great logo, by the way.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And the reason you want to go there is we have so much limited stuff that you're going to see in our stories. We're going to make a 1-off, 2-off, 3-off wallet. You're going to see it in our stories. You could buy them right from us there. They'll never hit our website. You know, there's a lot of stuff that never hits our website. So Instagram's really the hub. And then if you want to check out our website, it's shoptoehold.com.
Shoptoehold.com.
Yeah.
Love it, man. Appreciate
Shoot me a message. Send a message to say you heard us. You heard us on this podcast, and then watch how fast we respond to you.
That's awesome. I appreciate you, man. Thanks for coming on.
Thank you for having me.